Liz, what can I say? I don't know where to begin today. I got notes everywhere. Hello, boys and girls, and how are you? I wasn't going to do a post-election one because everyone seems to be doing that, but by golly, oh golly, I'm going to look at some different bits and pieces. But before we do, I know, I'll start with one. I've got it on here. I won't show it up there, or maybe I will. Look, we've got one here. Just bear with me, guys. You know I just do this all live. Queer Tamil immigrant elected as Scottish Green MSP to pocket 77k a year despite not having the right to work. He's only here as a work student. I would, you can't make it up, eh? That's the first one that came. Did you know about that? Then there was the other guy, a Birmingham. He was trying to go under the, I think he was under the Greens. He might be independent, I don't know. But either way, he's a convicted terrorist. And he didn't get his seat in Birmingham. How are they allowed in the first place, Les? How are they even allowed? How is a student allowed to stand for local council when he's not even got a British passport? I tell you what, Britain has got too bloody soft, eh? So, other news, David Lammy came out, you know, that thick twat, and he said that wasn't the real elections. So he went to a voting booth and that wasn't a real elections. We're going to get to another serious point in a little while. Honestly, I just have to laugh. 400 billion in benefits bill. It's running up to 400 billion. That's serious, eh? And we'll get to that with Nigel Farage in a minute. Then Starmer, of course, said, I won't resign because I don't want to put the UK into chaos. He got elected and put the UK in chaos. We'll deal with that one again in a minute. Oh, geez. I did say here, and I totally agree, I was a Labour man. And I voted, and a backstory on me, I was a Labour man and I voted for Tony Blair. And that was the biggest mistake of my voting life, I have to say. And ever since then, the Labour Party has gone down. And I put here in my notes, think about the core value of Labour, which is now gone. And it's just men in suits who destroyed the Labour Party and the core value. Would you not agree? A barrister who's PM, all his friends around, and Lammy twat is a barrister. They're just men in suits. They're career politicians, and they've destroyed the Labour Party, in my opinion. What else? Oh yeah, overseas non-student binary. We just got on. Les, where have we gone stupid? Honestly, on that note, this non-binary rubbish. So I was diagnosed ADHD. Funny that, eh? But because I've got ADHD, I will be on the spectrum for autism. Just, you know, a little bit somewhere. Autism. And then I've got dyslexia, which I've sort of known I've had my whole life. But I've got 3 labels. So Ezzy Izzard goes on stage. I'm Susie today. I'm Susie in his red dress and his makeup and stuff. And then next day he's Ezzy Izzard again. Why hasn't he got a label? Nuts. There's something mentally wrong with people like that. He's mentally ill. And I keep saying to people, you know the nursery rhyme or the song, The King is in the Altogether, and then that little boy goes, hey, he's got no clothes on. Why don't we start pointing these nut jobs out like that Zach Balansky, Dave to his friends? Do you know what I mean? When we start calling these people out, because we discussed this before, haven't we, with Dave Polanski, when he turned around and said, Greenlanders for Greenlanders and keep their borders, blah, blah. And then he go, but in the UK, we're going to have open borders. Anyone can come in. It's just, why don't we call these people out? They're nut jobs. Stop being all touchy-feeling with them. They're fucking bloody idiots. So then we've got Angela Rayner's back. So she tax dodged, massively tax dodged on purpose, and then tried to blame the accountants who came out and went, no, we told her, and she ignored it. She's coming back, isn't she? Then we got, you do your research, this is true. So there's a new Green It's like, I just can't. It's unbelievable. There's a new Green Party councillor, right, in the UK. You do your research and find him out. And when he did his acceptance speech, it wasn't in English. Les. Honestly, what the frack? It wasn't even in English. And they say multiculturalism is working. You and I know multiculturalism isn't working, so let's get on with the show. Let's do the first one. I've got it all loaded. I've got press my button here, and let's go for it, shall we? Keir Starmer.
He just doesn't get it.
Look, it was really tough, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It's really important that we reflect and respond when the electorate send a message like that. It's right that we do that. I think we have to set out the path ahead, and that's what I intend to do in coming days. How we rebuild, how we convince people about hope for the future, and we haven't done enough of that. And of course, hope for the future resides in our young people being able to go as far as their talent or ability will take them, not being held back by poverty. Hope resides in communities and families and households not feeling constantly held back by the cost of living. And hope resides in people feeling that they can be proud of the place where they live and they work. So I will be setting that out with clarity about my convictions and my values, what drives me forward on this.
I think he thinks he can talk his way out of this. He is so tone deaf.
Right. I just don't get him. I don't get him. He just waffled on and waffled on. And he's saying how he's coming up with the solutions. They had 14 years for a start in opposition where he was whatever he was, or the Justice Minister, I don't know, whatever he was back then. They had 14 years. They're now nearly 2 years in, and they've screwed everything up, and they've screwed up the whole bloody country. I've got friends I speak to in the UK who are seriously struggling. They built up their businesses, and now this fucking arsehole is taxing the shit out of them. And they're giving it all to these people on benefits and these people on boots. And then when you say that, you're racist. The backbone of Britain is broken. It's that simple. So let's do another one on him, shall we? He just simply should not be where he is in power. Golly me, Les.
I think it's very important that we don't sugarcoat these results, so I'm not going to do that. They are tough results, I accept that. They reflect voters who don't feel that their lives have changed enough or quickly enough, and that's been going on for a long time. We were elected to deal with that, and I'm not going to walk away from that responsibility and plunge the country into chaos.
I don't get it. He said there's not been change quick enough. There has been change very quick. Very quick down into the toilet. Tax, tax, tax. All the rich people are leaving. There are rich people in the world. And you know what they do? They create jobs for ordinary workers like you and me. They're leaving, and then the only people that are realistically going to be left are the ordinary taxpayers who are out on the street. Gee, the man hasn't got a clue. I think he's like another Boris Johnson, who we've done a piece on him before, didn't we? Where I say you can educate an idiot, but they're still idiots. Now, if that was me, and I look back at me, I'll be, I'm a fucking idiot. I know all the right words and I know what to say, not necessarily in the right order, but I'm not given any substance because I haven't got a clue how to run the country. He clearly has no idea how to run the country. So next picture, this is a picture coming up. This really made me laugh. Look at that. Today I am pleased to appoint Gordon Brown, I can't do his accent, as my special envoy on global finance and cooperation. As Britain's longest serving Chancellor, Gordon is well placed to work with our international allies to build a strong Britain and boost our country's security and reliance. No, the mic's not switched off. I'm trying not to swear. Is he delusional? The man's delusional because the other man's delusional because he sold, what was it, over 450 tons of your gold. Your gold. And he announced it 2 days before. Oh, we're going to get to that with this guy in a minute, Graham. So I won't say any more. Let's get on. I'll let him explain. It's just ridiculous. Nuts! It's Liz. It's nuts, Liz. Oh, let's have a look at some of the comments first before I get to Graham David. So here we are. This me. Any gold left? Or just comedy gold? It goes on, honestly. The comedy just keeps flowing. Incredible. 500 likes there. This is what I was saying. Scraping the barrel. Never asked for Tony Blair back. Finalise racial reason, mentor, blah, blah, blah. Jobs for the boys. Of course it is, of course. So when is Tony Blair coming back? He's most probably pushing and pulling all the strings, isn't he? This is a joke, gold, right? There's one there saying bring, what was that, Tony Blair back as the defence minister. Honestly, you can't make this shit up. So it goes on, monetary gold, blah, blah, blah. The man who stopped the boom and then bust the economy, he did. He did. Well, we'll get Graham David on in a second. Don't mention the gold. This literally is all on Keir Starmer's, Facebook profile. You would definitely think the secretary who posts all this stuff up would be going, Keir, we have a slight problem here. People aren't being very... Look there, Tony Blair, the defence minister. Maybe we should have a really good think and look in the mirror, because this really is not working.
Council seats, Keir Starmer has a cunning plan. After losing all those council seats, Keir Starmer has a cunning plan. Bring in Gordon Brown as finance envoy. Gordon Brown, the man who sold 400 tonnes of Britain's gold reserves at the bottom of the market, and not just sold them, but announced to the entire world he was going to sell them first so everyone could prepare. Brilliant negotiation. This was the man who spent 10 years raiding Britain's pension pots, which, by the way, is one of the reasons a generation of workers started buying buy-to-lets instead of pensions. This was the man who turns the UK tax code into the most complicated tax document on the planet. Look it up. The man who stood up at Labour conferences year after year and told us he had personally abolished boom and bust. No more boom and bust, he said repeatedly. And then the economy busts. So now, after the worst local election night in Labour's history, Keir Starmer looks at all of that and thinks, yep, that's the man for global finance. I think he'll fit right in with Labour.
Oh, he's spot on, eh? He says it far better than I do in such a short time. He is so spot on. So why, Liz? Why, general public, boys and girls, and I've got it down here in my notes, so why are the people so fed up?
You know, you can absolutely see why people are incandescent with rage. That these people come here having contributed nothing to this country.
From one of my home cities here, Birmingham, there's a Grade 2 listed hotel called the Rouston. It's massive. The issue is that people are saying there's only men staying there, male, 300 males, and they've turned one of the rooms into an arcade for them, and they've put in all these games, Pac-Man, Mortal Kombat, pool table, air hockey, all these things, and locals are now saying, well, we haven't got this. We've got to pay £1.50 a go to go into our local arcade, and these guys have got it for free.
So this is all back to, again, this big bill, isn't it? The benefits bill. As in a bill, not the bill. A bill, as in tax, money. Your money, 400 billion going. That's just one migrant hotel. As I say, and I always say, I'm not a racist, and I used to be in the Anti-National Front back in the day. But common sense, I'm not going to be shut down, and nor should you, just by name calling by the lefties, and they are all loony lefties. So next I'm going to do a bit of self-indulgence, and I'm going to just show a little video of my friend. Yes, she is my friend. Actually, she is my friend. June, the lovely June, I've known her over 40 odd years, getting her seat in Lowestoft, my hometown.
June Alison Murray is duly elected.
Yep, I know, Jim. I thought I'd put that in as well, because did you see the Green Party guy? He was wearing an Adidas t-shirt and a pair of jeans. How can you take anyone seriously? She will one day, because she knows Nigel Farage quite well, she will one day be head of fisheries. Yeah, that's that thing, you know, all them little fish round our island that you can't and no one else can get up with the nets, because Boris and everybody else and Keir Starmer gave it all away to the EU. Oh, the same EU that you're now going to start paying £1 billion, £1 billion, sorry, a year to. Yes, because Keir Starmer wants to get back in line with the EU. So you're going to start paying £1 billion a year. Do you know, it makes me laugh when you hear about the National Health Service and we need to do more. You know, there's £1 billion just right there, eh? And don't say to me we need more foreign doctors and nurses. The only reason we have foreign doctors and nurses is because Britain, the establishment, is too bloody lazy to train up doctors and nurses. I never had a choice. I don't think we've ever had a doctor come out of Kirkley High School. We were never given the choice. It's too expensive. 7 years? That's one heck of a commitment, right? So all they do is import people because it's cheaper. They've already got their education. And don't think there's a surplus of doctors and nurses around the world just waiting to come to the UK. All right, there isn't. They earn more money in the UK than where they are, and they're cheaper to bring in. So don't say, oh, we have all these wonderful nurses and doctors. Yes, they are wonderful people, but they could also be wonderful people in their own country, while in our country, we could actually train up more wonderful people that actually understand our culture. I'm just saying, I'm saying, Les, it's not being racist. Anyway, let's carry on, shall we? Oh, geez, I'm getting a headache.
There is a big divide in Britain. I tell you what it is. It's between those that work and those that don't. Those that get up in the morning and go to work, whether they wear suits or orange jackets, they're the ones that are coming to us. They don't see Labour anymore as being the party of working people. They see it very much more, actually, as the party of welfare. And the second reason is people are seeing rapid changes in their community and societal decline. You know, the number of women that have grasped my hands in the last few weeks who say, save us, please save us. They're fearful for their daughters or granddaughters to be out on the street. They see antisocial behaviour. They see the police not intervening, shoplifting being allowed. There is a feeling in many, many, many of these northern towns and cities that literally we're going down the plug hole. And I don't think the London human rights lawyer Labour Party is connected with either of those two.
Absolutely. I'm not a fan of Nigel Farage. I think he's just another player. I think the party as a whole will do really well. I know it's done really well now, but as time go on, but the left are really screwing them down as Nazis and left, right, and it's just vile, isn't it? As I say, I'm not a particular big fan of his, although my friend June says he is actually a nice guy and he is genuine. So I have to take that as it is and not listen to all the waffle online. So while on one hand I'm not 100% trustworthy, because I did exactly the same with Tony Blair. I thought he was the man of the job, and then again I voted David Cameron. I thought he was going to be a good one. Look what he done as well. So I'm just a bit wary. All right, I'm a bit wary, especially with the Rupert Lowe stuff that went down, and then there was false, and they were false allegations. Not so much him, the party chairman I do not like. Check him out. The party chairman of Reform, and he was surrounded himself with Muslim people. But people don't realise they're voting Reform because they want to keep their culture, but he's already changing things. I'm just going to go on this other guy, this other Labour leader. This is what they're doing. Oh, I look at the camera again. I just get lost. It's just nuts. By the time I've edited this down in a couple of hours' time and posted it, there'll be something new out. Absolutely something new. So anyway, we're going to have a look in defeat, the waffle that goes on in defeat.
Are you ruling out a leadership bid?
The Prime Minister was elected at the last general election on a mandate of change. He delivered a majority that people thought was absolutely impossible after the crushing defeat of 2019. Now, we have seen through the votes cast across England, Scotland and Wales that the government nationally bears a huge amount of responsibility for good Labour candidates losing through no fault of their own. And it is our responsibility to show the voters as a team that we've got the message, that we can still deliver the change they voted for at the last general election, that politics can be a force for good, and that Labour can be the change that the country wants to see. Keir Starmer will be setting out on Monday as our leader and Prime Minister how he plans to do that. He will have my support. I will continue putting my shoulder to the wheel as his health secretary, delivering the improvements in the NHS that people are crying out for and we're beginning to see. And I'm really proud that here in Redbridge, we buck the trend. We've shown that whether it's opponents to our left or opponents to our right, that Labour can still win, can still be the change. I'm proud of the result here. I'm particularly proud of the results in the Ilford North wards, and I'll be standing here at the next general election too.
You get that? Shoulder to the wheel as if he's one of the working guys. And then these candidates, these councillors, losing their seat through no fault of their own. So the people that didn't re-vote them in voted for someone else because obviously it's affected them in their area and they need a change. So it is their bloody fault, not someone else's fault, not Keir Starmer's fault. It's local elections and people have had enough, so they want a change. Look at it, the pothole. I mean, I'm not even in the country at the moment, but I can see potholes everywhere. The bins, that big argument over not collecting bins. And now your bins in the UK, your rates are going up, but you're only getting collections every 2 weeks now. Cutbacks, 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 while at the same time, they're charging you more. How does that work? How does that improve your life? They're just men in suits. I'm going to give you one more guy. And even the presenter on BBC News said he's delusional. Have a look at him. Jeez. Liz.
People might be slightly baffled by the words you're using. Positive, good results. And when we look at the number of seats you've lost, 557 council seats. And somehow, out of that, you're using the words positive and good results. Are you deluded as to just what has occurred?
Not deluded at all. Listen, I said right at the start, we lost many good Conservative colleagues, and I regret that, and we're keen to win those seats back, hopefully with the same council candidates. But we are coming from a long way back in terms of where we started this. 2024, of course, we suffered a devastating result. 2025, in the May elections last year, local elections, in many ways, was even worse. So that's where we're starting from, and that's where I think we should judge ourselves from and judge Kemi Badenoch from. And the progress we are making. But we are making progress. We outperformed many of the polls in terms of those successes. So I'm not saying this is a wonderful night. It's not where we want to be, but it's the place we are now, and believing we have made progress and we can continue to make progress over the next few years.
Am I missing something? They've made progress, but they lost 500 seats. Oh, Jesus Christ. Honestly, you see why I can't do this show very often anymore. I just I'll have a beer after this. It's only 9 in the morning. You see these people that just waffle on like I'm doing right now, but at least I know what I'm talking about. You know, and you like the t-shirt, by the way. First of all, I'll get to that in a minute. So it says here, data without data, it's just an opinion. There's data. The data's everywhere, isn't it? The data's everywhere. Anyway, this t-shirt, it's off something else from the Sex Pistols, off their single. Brilliant little single, considering Johnny Rotten had left. But I wanted the original t-shirt. You can't buy it. It's got A for Anarchy on it. You can't buy the swastika version. That was the whole point of the bloody cover, you know? So they've changed it, and you literally cannot get it. I mean, I'm not into Nazism, but it was a hell of an powerful statement that was, wasn't it? A bit like the Labour Party now. The Labour Party. Anyway, I was just joking about that, but you can't buy that anymore. They've rubbed out a piece of that history, unless you actually buy the album, the single cover, and then you print it out yourself. But anyway, the Labour Party. The Labour Party are not the Labour Party for the working people anymore. I think the nearest you'll got, I know it sounds a bit weird to say, is the Reform Party, because everything Nigel Farage says is what the Labour Party would have said 40 years ago. I'm just saying, that one is an opinion, I agree. But what you're getting in the UK is all this misinformation. On one of the 5%, I'll get to that in a minute, on one of the 5% that actually know what's going on, and I don't like what's going on in the world. It's a bit like the war in Middle East again, and they're saying, oh, America, we did this the other month, last month, I believe. Basically, $1 billion spent a day by the American government. No, $1 billion made a day by somebody else. Lockheed will be one of them. One of them big families, BlackRock and Vanguard, they all have their fingers in that somewhere. All right, I'm part of 5% that actually knows what's going on in the world, and it's not nice. And we are just, you know, little people, attack. Oh, look, there's another, we're just a number, tax. That's all we are, tax for them to make money. That's all we are. And it's shameful, it's shameful. And Keir Starmer, didn't he, last year when he says people want to earn enough money to put food on the table and pay their bills. He said them exact words. No, people don't want to just go to work to put food on the table and pay bills. They want to go out and play. They want to go down their local pub or restaurant and want to save some money and go on a holiday, have a nice car. Like we used to. I did in the 80s and 90s till it all turned to custard. You can't just say, I want to get up in the morning, the Prime Minister, I want to get up in the morning and just earn enough money to put food on the table. Oh, there is one here. So I'll see if I can get to it. And while I do that, I will show you the 5%. Are you one of them?
1% control the world. 4% are puppets. 90% are asleep. 5% know what is going on and are trying to wake up the 90%. The 1% don't want the 5% waking up the 90%. Where are you?
There you go. I'm just trying to see if I can find it. Oh, it's going to be hard. Just bear with me as I do this live. Oh, yeah.
Mohammed tries to get his children together for a day out. But as Mohammed and his wives are unemployed and dependent on benefits, days like these are rare. The difficulty of balancing many families on little money is a source of tension. A tension exacerbated by his desire to share the state benefits they receive with his wife and children in Morocco.
My own experience, the difficulties is the money-wise. Money plays a big role in supporting 3 wives and the kids.
Now kids, he's got 11 kids. And he's mooning he ain't got enough money. These are all true facts that the BBC and ITV won't show. I will say I've been watching a little bit, and I did this morning just to get wrapped up, as you most probably saw at the beginning. I racked myself up by watching GB News because there's so much angry energy, and I don't think that's a positive way to be either, do you? I don't think that's a positive way to almost be shouting at the camera. You know, I don't believe that's the right way to show and read the news, and at least look at some of the news in a positive light, some of the positive stuff Labour has done. Sorry, I couldn't keep the straight face. I tried, but you know what I mean, some positive stuff from some of the other parties other than Reform. Anyway, that's it on my little show. Just think on the 5%. All right, because the 1% do not want you awake. You have a good week. I don't know when I'll be doing my next one, because as I say, every time I go to do one, something else comes up. Maybe next time, maybe when I've finished this, Keir Starmer go, for the good of the country, I have now stood down. And Gordon Brown is Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, and because they're not elected, by the way, and Tony Blair will be the Defence Minister. You have a good time, folks. Take care. Don't let them get you down. Keep the pressure on. Ta-da.